Welcome. If you're a technology leader in Africa, you know your job is getting bigger. I mean, a lot bigger. Based on some incredible conversations we've been having in our CxO series, the mandate is expanding at a pace that's just, well, breathtaking. So, what we've done is distill the key insights from all our latest discussions into one clear, strategic narrative to help you get your arms around this massive shift. Let's start right here with this idea. If risk has become digital, then digital leadership must become structural. Just let that sink in for a second. This really captures the new reality, doesn't it? Technology isn't just some operational function anymore. It's literally at the heart of both your company's risk and its value. And that requires a fundamental rethink of what leadership even looks like. So our journey today is going to follow that exact expansion, kind of moving from the inside out. We're going to start with you, the leader, and how your personal role is being completely redefined. From there, we'll get into the weeds on the practical challenge of building the right kind of team for this new AI era. And then finally, we'll zoom all the way out to the ultimate goal, translating all that leadership into real strategic authority in the boardroom. Okay, first up, the new mandate for you, the individual leader. This is really where all the pressure starts to build. This right here, this captures the central tension for pretty much every modern CIO. Every single department, from sales and marketing to ops and finance, they all run on digital platforms now. It's everyone's business. But when a system goes down or a new capability is needed, where do all those arrows point? Yep, straight to one person. And this paradox, this shared dependency but singular accountability, is what's forcing a complete reinvention of the role. The answer to this challenge, what we're seeing emerge, is the rise of the hybrid CIO. Now, this isn't just a fancy new title. It's a fundamental shift in mindset. It's all about moving from being just a custodian of systems to becoming a true integrator of the entire enterprise. And man, the evolution is just stark when you see it side by side like this. Over on the left, you've got the traditional CIO, basically a support executive, managing infrastructure, worrying about uptime, keeping an eye on budgets. But on the right, you've got the hybrid CIO. This person is a growth architect. They're co-designing revenue models, they're optimizing operations, they're even sitting in on sales conversations. The playing field has literally expanded from the server room to the entire business. Now, for leaders in Africa, this hybrid model isn't just some strategic advantage, it's existential. It's about survival. You're operating in an environment with challenges like inconsistent infrastructure and constant volatility, things that would paralyze other markets. In this kind of environment, you can't just buy more capacity. You have to engineer more efficiency. And that demands a leader who understands business processes just as deeply as they understand code. So, once the leader's role is redefined, what's the next logical challenge? Well, it's building the right team to execute the vision. How in the world do you architect a team that can deliver real, tangible value in the age of AI? And here we go. We find another paradox, this time with AI talent. On one hand, you're seeing this flood of new, trendy job titles everywhere. But on the other hand, you have real, thorny business problems that need solving right now. In a resource-constrained market, success means you have to ignore all that noise and focus purely on the capabilities that are going to drive outcomes. This quote from one of our CxO Series members it perfectly captures the local reality. You can't afford to have siloed specialists. Our context demands these multi-skilled professionals who get the tech, the business, and the complex regulatory environment. That's not a weakness, it's our strategic agility. So, what does a practical team actually look like on the ground? Well, here's a blueprint for what we're calling the minimum viable AI team. And I want you to notice how each and every role is tied directly to a measurable outcome. The AI architect, they make sure solutions actually work across our fragmented systems. The prompt engineer, they make sure the outputs make sense locally. And the data ethicist, they're there to provide that ethical assurance before you deploy, not after a crisis. The takeaway here is really practical. Hire for outcomes, not for fancy titles. Build your internal champions by cross-training your existing people across data, operations, maybe even your legal teams. And most importantly, start small. Get a lean pilot team focused on one high-impact project to prove the value and build that crucial momentum. All right, now for the final act. You've redefined your own role. You're building the right kind of team. The last critical step is to extend that influence from the engine room all the way up to the boardroom. And this is where we face the final and maybe the most dangerous paradox. Digital risk is a top 3 threat on most board registers. We all know this. Yet, the one executive who is most equipped to actually manage it is often not even a voting member at the table. This is a massive governance gap, and frankly, it exposes organizations to huge systemic risk.
Look, this isn't just a feeling we have. It's backed by hard data. Research from firms like Spencer Stuart confirms it. Boards with real, tech-savvy directors are just better. They innovate faster, and they recover more quickly from crises. Having that expertise at the table provides a direct, measurable competitive advantage. It's not debatable.
So how do you make this a reality? Well, it requires real structural change, not just symbolic gestures. The path involves 4 key steps. First, you've got to revise reporting lines, so the CIO reports directly to the CEO. Second, the board's own mandate has to be expanded to explicitly include digital and AI governance. Third, you have to invest in the digital fluency of the entire board. And finally, you have to intentionally build a pipeline of board-ready tech leaders for the future.
Okay, let's pull all of this together. Let's make it a unified strategy for what you can do next.
So what's the unified call to action? It really comes down to 4 things. First, you have to personally own and claim your new role as an enterprise integrator. Second, you've got to focus on building those lean, outcome-driven AI teams with ethics baked in from the very beginning. Third, you have to be the one to start the conversation about structural change at the board level. And finally, please remember this is a shared journey. You're not alone. Lean on peer networks like the CxO Series to turn these really difficult conversations into actionable strategy.
We'll leave you with this one final question to really think about. The scope of your responsibility. It is undeniably growing every single day. The critical challenge now for all of us is to ensure our strategic influence and our authority are growing right alongside it. So is it?